All right, let's stay in Texas because Governor Greg Abbott made news this morning by declaring two groups as foreign terrorist organizations. Let's go to our breaking news correspondent, Chanel Call, who's been following this story for us from the newsroom in New York. Chanel, what did the governor have to say today?
Well, he made this announcement, Mugo, this morning through this proclamation, essentially now designating two groups, the Muslim Brotherhood and the Council on American Islamic Relations, as foreign terrorist groups and transnational criminal organizations. So this announcement came to us in the form of this proclamation. So I'll just show you a bit of it on my computer here. If I scroll down, you can see it's a couple of pages long. And in this proclamation, Mugo, the governor is explaining which groups we're talking about here and why he chose them, also what the impact will be of this proclamation. So I spoke to Edward Ahmed Mitchell, who is the Deputy Director of CAIR, about this today to get his perspective on this proclamation and his reaction to this announcement this morning. Take a listen to part of that conversation. So, Edward, want to read you part of this proclamation, which I'm sure you've already read before. But part of it says internal documents plainly identified CAIR as a subsidiary of the Muslim Brotherhood, and a federal court eventually found, quote, ample evidence to establish that CAIR was associated with Hamas. What's your response to that?
Completely false. In fact, Mr. Abbott knows that another court later ruled that those claims were completely improper, should have never been made in the first place, and were made against dozens of American Muslim organizations when the Bush administration was going to great excesses in the years after 9/11. So what he's done is cherry-picked information, bottled them up into conspiracy theories, and then regurgitated them for this publicity stunt. CAIR is an independent organization. We're not an agent, offshoot, partner of any foreign organization, period.
And so when I asked him more about how he sees CAIR as an organization, he said CAIR is an independent civil rights organization representing the American people. Let's give you a bit of background as well, Mugo, about these organizations that we're talking about, including the Muslim Brotherhood. It may sound familiar to you. This is a group that was founded in Egypt. It really rose to power, rose to influence after the Arab Spring. But important to note that it also became something that Americans grew to see as a threat. In Egypt, the ideology within the Muslim Brotherhood also spread to some other groups that you'll now know, Hamas and Hezbollah as well. But important to mention here that there has really been no material tie from the Muslim Brotherhood to CAIR. Also, CAIR, which is an American-based group, has never actually been charged with crimes like aiding and abetting a terrorist organization. And finally, want to mention as well, Mugo, that when it comes to labeling groups with this label of a terrorist group or organization, it's really up to the U.S. State Department to do that. What the governor did today was a state proclamation. And so I want to show you what we found on my screen here. This is a social media post from Greg Abbott after he had made that proclamation. And what he's saying is that this will have an impact in the state of Texas. And the impact he says it will have is that it will allow some heightened enforcement against these two groups. As well, he says, you'll see here, this bans them from buying or acquiring land in Texas, and also authorizes the Attorney General to sue to shut them down. So I also asked that gentleman we spoke to from CAIR about this potential impact. He seemed to be unfazed about it. He also told me that he believes this actually doesn't have any basis in law. And he said if they do feel that this proclamation today in any way infringes on their rights, they plan to take the government to court. Back to you.
All right, Chanel Call, thank you so much for that breakdown. Appreciate your time today.